Greetings, my friends. Welcome to the Let's Get Gritty podcast with yours truly, Dr. India White. I'm thrilled to be here with you this evening. I hope that you're bouncing back and that you're able to continue to do great things despite the wild week we had last week with Hurricane Milton and whatnot. With that said, I do want to make some announcements for you guys. So, first things first, the Let's Get Gritty podcast with Dr. India White, it will be featured on all of my main social media platforms. Also, you can find this episode on Spotify. So, with that said, I'm super excited to continue to spread the love and do what I can to connect with each of you out there. Next thing I want to tell you is please follow me on social media. My Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. YouTube is India White 123. And TikTok is Dr. India White. I have some upcoming events. I will not be at Nebraska. I'm very heartbroken about this. But that does not mean I'm not willing to work with you guys in Nebraska. This is just a very tough time with everything going on. As you can imagine, we are still recovering in Florida. I will plan to see you guys at the ICTM conference in Iowa. Also, FAMS is tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to hitting off an Ignite session there with you guys. Thank you to all of my Florida peeps. Looking forward to ATM&E and to the Northwest Conference this week or next week and beyond. So if you're wanting me to come and do some work with you, please check out my website, www.india-white.com. For books or for blogs or to schedule me for a speaking or coaching event. Thank you to those that have been reaching out. I've had some universities reach out to me recently as well, showing some interest. So I am open to working with all leaders in all educator perspectives. So with that said, also please check out the Grit Mini Workshop. Thank you to those that have been giving reviews and just letting me know how it's helping you. We appreciate the feedback. And so with that said, I do want to also remind you guys of the Grit Academy. I'm still taking tutoring for students, throughout the year. So if you have a student that needs some support, I am here for them. Okay. So with that said, we're going to talk today about just something that's close to my heart right now because of what we've gone through with the catastrophe of Hurricane Milton. And I'm still kind of stuck on that. So I think all of us are kind of looking at that. There's so much going on right now, right? So I'm going to talk about building back through grit. And so this is kind of a message of hope. And I want to do this because I felt like, many educators, especially down south, that have been hit with all these catastrophes, it's like sometimes you wake up and your mind is just a big question mark because you don't know how you're going to move forward. There's just a lot, you're dealing with family and even those spread throughout the nation. You have loved ones that were impacted by this, right? Or you once were a Florida native and you're looking at this now and, just kind of like wondering what's going to happen, right? And so we've been looking at some of the recovery and what's taken place. And so I want to talk, first off, I want to just give my sincere thoughts, prayers, and condolences to all of those that have lost or suffered trauma in any type of way because of this hurricane. I can tell you firsthand, it was not a comfortable experience. It was very traumatic, and it did cause post-trauma for sure, to where, we were just glad to be alive. We were glad, and it's just heartbreaking. My daughter, one of her babysitters, from years ago, but we kept in touch and she lost everything. They had to get her out of her place with a boat. I've had family members that have lost their homes. So this is very real to us. My favorite place, Siesta Key, is in shambles and lots of debris there. Lots of people lost everything that lived near the beaches. And I know Clearwater also suffered great damage. So this is hitting home to us. And so we do appreciate those that want to jump on board and support. If you're wanting to, contribute some type of, supplies or whatever, I would say reach out to those. You can reach out to me too. You can visit my website or send me an email. My email's flowing down here, india.white.123@gmail.com. And if you're wanting to, give targeted support, whether it's for our families or for schools and things like that, please reach out to us. I know Hillsborough County, they are doing an incredible job, but they had about 100 schools or maybe more that suffered damage. And I mean, I have a bias towards Hillsborough because that was, my stomping ground. So, we definitely are needing some support from those, whether in the community or outside of the community that just want to join in with our concentrated efforts to really give back and to support all of those that have been impacted by Hurricane Milton. So this is just not a very happy topic. I will never forget this hurricane in particular. This was very different. The flooding, all of the oak trees, the huge trees that are down, and the debris was overwhelming. It was just a lot. So we're just happy to be here. We're just happy for another chance in life. But at the same time, many of us are sitting in just this question mark of like, well, how do we bounce back? Like, how do we build back? And so I want to just be a beacon of hope in this time, as I also am holding on to the little glints of hope that I have with you guys. And the reason why I am choosing to do this is, before the hurricane, I was really just, I was loving the career, loving the things. And I'm just so thankful for the doors that have opened and for all you guys that have loved me and have allowed me to partner with you in whatever capacity. Thank you. And my focus is just solely on that, like on, not just getting the message of grit out, but it was like just pursuing education, pursuing whatever. And then like after the aftermath and, being with no power, seeing, having people getting fist fights over gas, seeing empty freezers in grocery stores, empty shelves, seeing, single mothers homeless. It hit me hard. And I'm just the type of person that, if my community is suffering, it affects me. And I know I'm not alone. Sometimes driving by the debris, I just think of the night when the hurricane hit. And, the hurricane did hit us it hit around midnight, but our power went out personally around like 8:00. We didn't get power back probably to another at least 12 plus hours. Right. So you can imagine power going out in the middle of the night and, just trying to console people, be strong when, inside you're getting all the grit that you got to, kind of stay brave for the sake of those that are around you, even though you're scared to death. So it was pretty tough. But driving around and seeing, the debris, sometimes it brings back those memories of what we went through. And I would not wish that on my worst enemy. And for all of us that are overcoming, I want to make this message so that we can continue to build grit together. To those that were empathetic enough and compassionate enough to wish, us some sincere wishes and prayers, thank you. To those that, were not as compassionate, that were critical, I would highly recommend you just kind of look at the big picture and see how your gift of empathy and your gift of compassion and any gift of kindness would be so appreciated in this time over anything else. So with that said, I do want to go into how we can continue to bounce back. And I want to go into some of the things that I first, saw on, online when it came down to just in general bouncing back and just in general, how to do that with grit or resilience and things like that. So let me share my screen and we'll get right into this. So first things first, talking about, dealing with despair and how to overcome from despair. So here's an article. It says dealing with despair, 6 ways to find hope. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I had an epiphany with my mentor who I've had for a while when I was a part of the college access program. And she sent me an email and she's like, "Hey, India, just checking on you, whatever." And one of the lines that she said, India, life is tough. I'm starting to see that now more than ever. This has been a very tough season. And she says, life is tough. And she says, but you have to look for hope. You have to seek out hope. And it just stood out to me, that line. We have to seek out hope. And so many people have been dealing with despair. They've lost it all. I think sometimes, if you've been removed from like a situation like Milton or whatever, it's easy to just kind of say, oh, whatever, it was just a hurricane, next. But no, not really. So many people are just getting power back. Some people still don't have power. And it's so much going on there. So with that said, many of these amazing people, educators, leaders, are dealing with some despair. And so we're going to talk about despair, how to find hope, how to bounce back, how to be resilient despite despair. So here it says, despair, the loss of hope for the future, is one of the most difficult experiences. Here's how to find strength and hope. This is by Teresa. I cannot say the last name. So this was written in 2022. So it says, despair can often appear out of the blue. This is the truth. And, even during this hurricane and the aftermath of it, I found myself so just sorrowful, and just sometimes just driving down the road and just tears would just come to my face because of just trying to take in all the trauma and it was a horrible situation. I'll never forget this. Anyway, so it says, we may suffer a tragic loss or loved one, or receive devastating news about our health. Maybe a scary world event suddenly unfolds. Our lives can drastically change overnight. Despair may emerge slowly, its heaviness inching into our hearts more and more each day. It might be the increasing unhappiness of a relationship. Perhaps it's the gradual loss of fulfillment in our work, or growing anxiety over climate change. No matter its roots, despair can lead us into a dark, yes, and sorrowful place. We may experience debilitating exhaustion, tearfulness, panic, and even shame. Hopelessness, true to its name, convinces us that there is no way out, no point in trying, nothing that can be done to alleviate our misery. So, they're now going to give us some tips as to how to get out of this. So, how to bounce back, how to build back. So, take one small step at a time. Now, this is important. It says, as a result, of despair, you may lose your motivation for everyday activities. With the gloomy outlook on the future, what's the point of washing dishes? What's the point of getting ready, right? All those things. And so apathy and loss of interest, are normal responses. And I'm going to say, this is very true. And even, from the aftermath of the hurricane, and you're seeing the debris, you're seeing the loss, sometimes it is a challenge, to want to get up and get going in the day, because it's like, what's the use, and so some people are probably feeling that way. And just in general, we all have had, unfortunately, a bout with despair, but we've got to learn to overcome it. So here it says, despite our instinct to withdraw, participating in daily activities can be a healthy way of coping with our grief. And that's very imperative, because it takes a community. We have to be willing to get up and to get plugged in again, right? We need a village. So it says, trying to stick with our daily routines of getting up in the morning, getting dressed, having regular meals, interacting with others, going to bed can all help us maintain our mental health when times are hard. Staying active can also prevent physical, it says like insomnia, things like that. So staying active can also prevent physical problems such as insomnia, indigestion, or pain that often accompany despair and depression. So it says, by focusing on the next small step in front of you, that's all you have to focus on for now. Once you manage that, then try standing up. So give yourself baby steps to heal, baby steps to move forward. And I'm saying this to everybody that's been affected, and to just everybody that's listening. Maybe you're dealing with despair and something else. So it says, if you're not sure of what activities to do, ask yourself, try asking yourself, how would I spend my day? How would I spend my time today if I had no hope? What kinds of things do I enjoy when I feel okay? Some things you can do: spend some time in the nature. Okay. Try something new for the first time. Make something. Express your feelings through creativity, drawing, paint. This is powerful. We need, I'm going to say this too. It says you need healing outlets for your sadness. Despair can happen because of so many reasons, right? So for those that are dealing with Milton, you might feel angry. I know I felt angry. You can feel just sad, hopeless at times. You might be dealing with some other type of situations around you where you just feel like throwing in the towel, and you feel like you get tired of getting the short end of the stick. You get tired of people being abusive to you. Maybe, you have people that are over you that are just bringing out this despair. It's like you just maybe something's happened. And it feels like they just are getting by, and I want to say something to that too. I do believe in an eternity, and I believe that everybody's going to get their portion. So whatever that looks like. So that's going to be a wild day. I do believe that. And I just don't want to end up on the wrong side with all of that. But we'll get back to this situation here where we're talking about how to continue to move forward despite despair. So it says here, try something new for the first time. And then they say, try to stay patient, and the journey will get easier with each small step. So I think in that part, it's focusing on just the small step in front of you, right? Then the next thing it says, connect to your senses. So connecting to your senses, it says there are simple mindfulness techniques that you can try, and without having to sit down on a cushion with your eyes closed. And so they have some here. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch. Name 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. So it tries to bring your attention back to your senses. This is so powerful because when your mind is everywhere and it's cluttered with, everything going on, this can really help you. Okay. And so 3, reflect on your thoughts. Despair can come with a range of unpleasant thoughts and emotions. We can experience fear, denial, and dismay. We may become discouraged about the future or agonize about past mistakes. We might even feel inner turmoil or emptiness. Okay? So it says, here's some thoughts. So am I catastrophizing? All right. So am I being unkind to myself? Right? So during despair, this is important. During despair, you may be quick to judge ourselves as to how much you're hurting. You might experience self-doubt, frustration, or even worthlessness. In times like these, it's important to find self-compassion for the emotions we feel. So they're going to keep going about this. Let's look at one more thing they say here. Looking for meaning. So beginning to look for meaning in your life. And so some things you can talk about for post-traumatic growth, which is your ability to find a renewed appreciation of life and deeper connection with humanity as a result of despair and trauma. You can ask yourself some things. Can I become stronger, wiser person from this experience? What can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I use this experience to make the world a better place? So those are some things there. And then, of course, this is powerful. Seeking professional help. And this right here is so true. It says, there is no shame in seeking professional help, for it can help us get better and, get faster if we try to do it all on our own. So I hope that can help you guys. And, so many people have lost businesses. So many people have lost houses and jobs and things like that with this. And so I hope that we can, pull together to help each other to overcome. So now I want to look at the scholarly example as to like, what do scholars say about bouncing back, resilience, grit, things like that? And can we use some of that at this time? So I was able to find a scholar. She was doing a presentation at Colorado University. So I'm going to pull her up, and then we're going to look at that. So this is called Building Grit and Resilience and Grit in Uncertain Times. And so let's play it.
So today we'll be focusing on three main areas: the attributes of resilience and grit. And from here on out, since they're very close, I'm mostly just going to be using the word resilience. How to build your resilience muscles, and how we can use new research about stress and the stress response to increase your resilience, grit, and overall success in life. So resilience is the ability to deal with high levels of challenge while maintaining or regaining high levels of effectiveness and well-being. Grit is mental toughness. It's defined as a high level of persistence and effort to overcome obstacles. Usually,
I like how she said it's mental toughness. And she spoke about how you needed to persevere and overcome obstacles. Very true. Mental toughness, tough grit.
it's a combination of passion for a long-term goal and motivation to achieve it. Gritty people keep going in spite of setbacks. The more effectively you can deal with and eventually bounce back from small and significant challenges, the more you can focus on living the life you really want. Now, resilience isn't something that a person either has or they don't have. It's the result of a combination of actions that you take before, during, and after you face challenges. It can
Interesting. Before, after, and during challenges. It's the act of what's going on. And I like this. The author of Prosilience, Building Resilience for a Turbulent World. I like that title.
be developed by understanding and practicing new skills while dealing with adversity. So today we'll be talking about the skills and strategies that you can build to become even more resilient. If you've experienced adversity in your past, you're already ahead of the game, because research shows that those who've faced real difficulties in their lives show more effective responses to challenging events later on. One of the exciting findings in the research on resilience is that facing challenges effectively will actually rewire and restructure the brain to deal with adversity even better in the future.
That's powerful. So it's a brain rewiring, which actually contributes or goes to the work that Dr. Carol Dweck did on growth mindset. So resilience actually helps you to cultivate that optimism needed for a growth mindset, to try again.
Not that we want to get that much practice in dealing with adversity, but know that each time you do, you're strengthening pathways in your brain to deal more effectively and bounce back more quickly in the future. So next, we'll talk about using micro challenges to build your resilience muscles, and then we'll move on to the resilience muscles themselves. So dealing with challenges well has a great effect on your well-being, and the way you deal with small challenges is an excellent predictor of how well you'll deal with bigger challenges. Finally, most big challenges are really just a bunch of small challenges mashed together. People can have vastly different responses to the same incident or what they see as a challenge. In fact, one person might not see it as a challenge at all, while another might see it as a tremendous challenge. Another person might not even notice that it happened. Later, we'll be talking about this further when we talk about the importance of mindset, and that's when we'll be talking about stress and how the research has been wrong about stress. For now, let's think about how two different people might react getting cut off in traffic. One might honk their horn, race after the driver that just cut them off, yell at them through the window even though the other person can't hear them. So they might use a gesture to communicate their meaning loud and clear. They might be angry about it for hours afterwards, recounting the story to several other people, and in general feel like that other person ruined their day. So is that true? In the chat box, so you'll see where you can set up the chat box. Tell me, is it true? Is that other person responsible for ruining their day by cutting them off?
No, they're not. I'm going to answer that for her. I just think it's very interesting. She's talking about using micro challenges. And if you look here, she talks about how, we have to learn how to answer these micro challenges to become greater with bigger challenges. So I want to fast forward a little bit about what she's saying. So she's talking now about resilience muscles, positivity, that goes with that growth mindset, confidence, that goes with self-efficacy, priorities, that goes with time management, creativity, a general range of possible options, connection, reaching out to others for support, and structure. So, that's kind of like resilient, being resilient enough to want to reach out. And then structure, create and apply disciplined approaches. Let's listen to her.
At the same time, with a physical challenge, just like you usually use several of these resilience muscles at the same time to address adversity.
Wow.
Balance strength is important. You need to keep all your muscles strong to be able to use the right ones when you need them. Your resilience muscles call on mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual energy. Resilience muscles also help you conserve energy. Just like someone who's in peak physical condition will use less energy to complete a physical task than someone who's in poor physical condition, the same is true for resilience. The first one is positivity. Resilient people don't overlook dangers, but they put their primary attention on the positive aspects and the opportunities.
I like that.
They believe that the world is full of opportunities, and they can usually find good things or at least reasons to be hopeful in any difficult situation.
Excellent. I like that. I'm going to hop over to, she was talking about stress, and it says here, what we've been taught about stress is wrong. How we think about stress makes all the difference. We can use the recent research on stress to increase resilience and grit. We can also use it to make our lives much better. So she's talking about stress now.
Is wrong. I wish I could take back a couple of decades of teaching the wrong things about stress, but the new research is definitive. We've been looking at it wrong. We've been teaching it wrong, and we need to change that quickly because it greatly affects the population.
Wow.
So before we talk about the research on the recent research on the effects of stress that's been replicated,
I'm going to look at the new research.
Life satisfaction, overall happiness. And they did, but the results were the exact opposite of what the researchers expected. They found that the higher the stress index, the higher the life expectancy,
Wow.
GDP, life satisfaction, and level of overall happiness.
You guys
They
hear
found
that?
stress is better for public health.
Wow. So she said, the higher the stress, the better your overall happiness and your health. Whoa.
The economy, and basically everything else. The researchers then looked at other things that correlated with people's stress and found that people who reported having had a very stressful day the day before were also more likely to have felt anger, sadness, worry, but also they had feelings of a great deal of joy. They laughed a lot. They felt a lot of love, and they learned something interesting that day. So the stress paradox is that although we might wish we had less stress, more stress is connected to things that bring laughter, joy, love, and meaning to life. And meaning is a good way to think about stress. Scientists have now studied what the best predictor of meaning is in a person's life. This experiment has been done many, many times in a variety of different.
I'm going to stop sharing there just for, sake of respecting her work, copyright, things like that. But I just think that's very interesting that she was saying that the more stress you have, the better. And I think, like she said, it's all about your mindset and how you're looking at the stress. You can't think, oh God, so much stress woes me. And, it's like, you got to be able to resolve and bounce back and be able to really build back through grit. So that was pretty interesting. And I'm going to stop it there for the sake of time. I could get on this for a whole hour at least. So, with that said, guys, thanks so much for tuning in again to the Let's Get Gritty podcast. Again, this show will be featured on Spotify and all of the main social media platforms. I invite you to check out the website, www.india-fight.com, for books, blogs, or to schedule me for an event. Thank you to those that are doing that. I am looking forward to working with you and spreading this message of grit, spreading this message of closing the achievement gap, spreading the message of equitable practices and beyond. Also, please follow me on social media. I will follow you back. So my Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is the India White. Thank you to all of my 25,000 followers plus on LinkedIn. I love y'all too. Twitter is Indy Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indy238. YouTube is India White 123, and TikTok is Dr. India White. I will see you guys at some upcoming events. Iowa, I will see you. Also, see you guys at FAMS. I will see you guys at ATM&E and Northwest and beyond. So looking forward to that. Also, please check out the Grit Mini Workshop and let me know how that goes. And then, of course, if you have a young one that needs tutoring or your school needs tutoring, whatever, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would be honored. Our team would be honored to tutor your students through the Grit Academy. So with that said, guys, this has been a fabulous show. I do appreciate you jumping on board with us. And I am committed to doing my part in helping us to bounce back from the craziness of Milton and all these other things that we had to endure, especially here in Florida. And for all of you guys that are joining us, thank you so much. And we're going to get through this. We're going to bounce back. So thanks again for joining me. Till next time, stay gritty. See ya.